I never imagined that the happiest day of my life would turn into the most humiliating. I was standing there, in my pristine white dress, holding his hands, looking into what I thought were my soulmate's eyes, when my phone buzzed. A single message from an unknown number: "Can't wait to see you tonight. She has no idea." I froze. My heart stopped. I stared at my fiancée, who smiled at me, completely unaware, or so I thought. For a moment, I questioned my sanity. Could it be a mistake? A cruel prank? But something inside me screamed that it wasn't. I tried to ignore it, thinking maybe I was overreacting, but the text repeated itself in my mind like a sinister echo. During the ceremony, I couldn't focus. Every laugh, every toast, every song sounded distant, like I was watching a movie of someone else's life. I excused myself, running to the bathroom, and stared at my reflection. How could he do this to me on our wedding day? I felt sick, angry, and betrayed all at once. I had to know. I needed proof before I exploded in front of our families and friends. My hands trembled as I opened the message again. I saved it, tried to trace the number, and my mind raced with questions. Who was she? How long had this been going on? Was this just one affair, or a life he had hidden from me entirely? I remember thinking, this can't be happening. Not today. Not like this. But deep down, I knew it was. I couldn't enjoy a single moment of our wedding. Everything I had dreamt of, planned, and hoped for was now overshadowed by a lurking nightmare. And then, as if the universe wanted to torment me further, I noticed him glancing at his phone, smirking slightly when no one was watching. That's when I realized the truth. He knew I had seen the message. He wasn't hiding it. He was daring me to confront him. Subscribe and tell me in the comments what you would do if you were in my shoes. I still can't believe what happened next. After escaping to the bathroom, I couldn't calm down. My hands were shaking as I scrolled through my phone, trying to make sense of that first terrifying text. Then more messages started coming in, from the same unknown number. He won't stop thinking about me. Tonight, Justice. Don't worry about her. My stomach twisted into knots. Who was she? How could this happen right under my nose? I sat on the cold tile floor, heart racing. I tried to remember the last few weeks, any clue, any hint of betrayal, but everything seemed normal. Or was it? Had I missed the subtle glances, the secret phone calls, the late-night business meetings? I felt like I was piecing together a puzzle whose pieces didn't fit. Then, panic hit. I realized that if I confronted him now, in front of everyone at the wedding, it would cause a scene. But staying silent felt like I was letting him get away with it. Every possible scenario ran through my mind: exposing him now, waiting until after the honeymoon, confronting him in private. None of it felt safe. I decided to take a risky step. I texted back the mysterious number: "Who is this? What are you talking about?" There was no immediate reply. Minutes felt like hours. Then, finally, a response: "You already know. Look closer at him. You'll see." I stared at my phone, unable to breathe. What could that mean? Was this person insane, or was there something I hadn't noticed? I scanned the crowd, pretending to smile, laughing at jokes, while every instinct screamed that my perfect day was crumbling. By the time I returned to the ceremony, I felt like a shadow of myself. I could hardly watch him speak his vows without feeling sick. That smirk earlier, the one he thought I hadn't seen. It haunted me. And I knew one thing for sure: I couldn't ignore this. Not anymore. But what I discovered next would make my heart stop even faster. After the ceremony, I forced myself to smile for photos, hug relatives, and thank everyone for coming. But inside, my mind was racing. Every laugh, every toast, every glance from my new husband felt tainted. I couldn't shake the messages. Look closer at him. You'll see. What did that mean? Was it a warning or a threat? I tried to remember everything he had done in the past few weeks. There was that late work project he'd been obsessed with, the phone he suddenly kept locked, the subtle avoidance whenever I asked about his friends or coworkers. I had brushed it off as normal pre-wedding stress, but now, every small detail started to feel like a piece of a hidden puzzle. Later that night, in our hotel suite, I noticed his phone buzzing on the nightstand. It was locked, as always. But a tiny part of me, something that had been whispering doubts for months, told me I needed to see. My hands shook as I picked it up while he showered. The screen lit up with notifications from a dating app. My stomach dropped. It wasn't just casual messages. This was deliberate, ongoing. My mind spun. How long had he been hiding this life from me? Was this just a fling, or something much bigger? I felt anger, betrayal, heartbreak, and disbelief all at once. I thought I knew this man, trusted him with everything. But now it felt like I had been living next to a stranger. And then I saw the last message he had received: "Can't wait to see you again. She'll never know." My hands froze, my chest tightening. I had proof now, undeniable proof. But what should I do with it? Confront him now? Wait and gather more evidence? Every option terrified me. Little did I know, this was only the beginning. The deeper I dug, the darker the truth became. The next morning, I went back to work, trying to act normal. But the images of last night haunted me: his smirk, the secret messages, the dating app notifications. I needed answers, and I knew I couldn't just sit at home waiting for him to admit the truth. I started paying closer attention to his daily routine. That's when I noticed small inconsistencies. He would say he had meetings across town but be gone for hours. Sometimes he'd text me from the office, but his tone seemed off, almost like he was hiding something. My gut told me there was more than just one secret. Curiosity got the better of me. I accessed the shared company calendar on my work laptop. To my shock, there were recurring entries marked lunch with client but at unusual times and places I had never heard him mention. I asked a few co-workers casually about these lunches, but they either didn't know or seemed hesitant to talk. The air around him was thick with secrets, and I felt myself slipping deeper into a web of suspicion. I decided to do something risky. I followed him one afternoon, pretending to be on a coffee run. I trailed him to a small, nondescript building near downtown, a place he never mentioned. Through the window, I saw him sitting with a woman. Not just any woman, but someone who clearly wasn't just a co-worker. They laughed, touched hands, and shared a closeness that made my stomach churn. My heart pounded as I realized the truth: he wasn't just cheating emotionally or digitally, he had a whole separate life, carefully hidden from me. Everything I thought I knew about him, our relationship, our plans, it all felt like a lie. And yet, I wasn't ready to confront him. Not yet. I needed more proof. But every step I took to uncover the truth pulled me further into a nightmare I wasn't sure I could survive. The next clue I found would change everything. After that day at the office, I couldn't stop thinking about what I'd seen. My mind replayed every smile, every touch, every hidden glance between him and that woman. But there was something even more chilling: it wasn't just a random fling. He had a whole social life I had never known about. I started checking his social media accounts. His friends list, his posts, the pictures he liked, it all seemed normal at first. But then I noticed subtle patterns. There were private accounts he had never mentioned, tagged photos of dinners I wasn't invited to, and comments from women I didn't know. Each one sent a wave of panic through me. How could he hide all this from me? Had I really been blind this entire time? Late that night, I decided to dig deeper. I created a fake profile to see what these women were saying about him. The messages were shocking: "Can't wait to see you tonight. I love our secret moments. She'll never know." The same phrasing, the same tone I had seen in the first mysterious texts at the wedding. It was all connected, all part of a carefully hidden life he had built right under my nose. I felt a mixture of rage, heartbreak, and disbelief. This wasn't just cheating, it was deception on a level I couldn't have imagined. He had been living two lives, maintaining appearances with me while secretly enjoying a completely different reality. I started questioning every decision I had made, every moment I had trusted him. And then it hit me. If he could hide this from me for so long, how many more lies were out there? How deep did this rabbit hole go? My heart pounded as I realized that the next step I took could either destroy him or destroy me. But I knew one thing: I wasn't done uncovering the truth. What I found next would shatter the final illusion I had of our life together. A few days later, I confronted him, or at least I thought I was confronting him. I asked him casually over dinner about his late work lunches and the strange messages I had been getting. He smiled, charming as ever, and told me I was overthinking. "It's just work stress," he said, holding my hand like nothing was wrong. But I could see the flicker of something behind his eyes: guilt? Fear? Or was it arrogance, knowing I was slowly unraveling? That night, I couldn't sleep. I replayed every conversation, every small lie, trying to figure out his next move. I decided to push him further. The next day, I left my phone accidentally unlocked on the kitchen counter, hoping he would make a mistake. And he did. A notification popped up from one of the hidden accounts: "Can't wait for tonight. Make sure she doesn't find out." I froze. My heart raced, and adrenaline coursed through me. I didn't need proof anymore, he had confirmed everything with his own hands. But the shock wasn't just the affair. It was the audacity. The fact that he believed he could manipulate me, lie to me, and live this double life without consequence. Finally, that evening, he confessed. Not the whole truth at first, just pieces, half-truths, like trying to calm a storm. He admitted to seeing someone else, but he twisted it as if it were my fault, saying, "I needed space, you've been so controlling." My blood boiled. Every word he said only added fuel to the fire inside me. I realized then that this man I had trusted with my life was not who I thought he was. The charming fiancé, the loving partner, all of it was a mask. And if I wanted the real story, I had to dig deeper. The confession was just the tip of the iceberg. And what I discovered next made me question everything about our relationship, our friends, and even myself. After his half-hearted confession, I couldn't stop obsessing over the truth. I needed undeniable proof, something that couldn't be denied or spun into another lie. That's when I decided to take a step I never thought I would. I installed a small camera in our shared home office, a place he used constantly. The next day, my heart pounded as I reviewed the footage. At first, it seemed normal, him typing on his laptop, making calls, pretending to work. But then I noticed subtle interactions, a hidden message notification, him quickly deleting emails, sneaking glances at the door as if expecting someone. My stomach twisted. It was worse than I imagined. Later that evening, the camera captured the ultimate betrayal. He opened a hidden drawer in his desk and pulled out a set of letters and photographs, proof of another life, meticulously documented. There were receipts from fancy dinners, tickets to events I had never been invited to, and intimate notes from the woman I had seen him with. Every frame of the footage screamed deception, every smile he gave the camera was a lie. I felt a surge of anger and fear. I wanted to confront him immediately, to shout, to make him face the consequences. But I knew I had to be strategic. This was bigger than a single confrontation. This was a betrayal so deep it affected everything, our marriage, our friends, our families. As I sat there, heart racing, I realized the depth of his deceit. He had not just been hiding a fling, he had orchestrated an entire parallel life, with precision and care, counting on me never discovering it. And then, just as I thought I had seen everything, the camera caught something that made my blood run cold, a visitor I never expected. I couldn't wait any longer. That night, I invited him to dinner at our favorite restaurant, a place where we had shared countless memories. I wanted to confront him, but I needed control, a public setting where I could see his reaction and gauge the truth. At first, he was charming, smiling, ordering our usual dishes, acting like nothing had happened. But every word, every movement felt rehearsed, like he was performing for me. I couldn't let it slide anymore. I calmly set the camera footage on my tablet, placing it between us on the table. His eyes flicked to it, and I saw the first crack in his facade. I can explain, he started, fumbling, but I held up my hand. No. Just watch. I watched as the proof of his double life unfolded on the screen, the secret dinners, the letters, the photographs. He went pale, and for the first time, I saw genuine fear in his eyes. You've been living another life? I asked, my voice barely controlled. All this time, all the lies? His silence was deafening. I felt a mix of satisfaction and disgust. The betrayal was real, undeniable. The man I loved, trusted, and planned a life with was gone, replaced by someone I barely recognized. Then came the audacity. He tried to justify himself, weaving excuses and blaming me for his choices. I felt my blood boil. Blame me? You think this is about me? You destroyed everything, I shouted, drawing the attention of nearby diners. But I didn't care. I needed him to feel the weight of his deception. As he stammered, I realized something terrifying. His lies were only the beginning. There was more hidden, more secrets waiting to be uncovered. And the next discovery would shock me even further, changing everything I thought I knew about our lives. After that explosive dinner confrontation, I knew I couldn't trust a single word he said. The realization hit me hard. Every moment, every memory we shared could be tainted by his deception. I needed to unravel the web of lies completely. I started digging through old emails, messages, and even receipts I had ignored over the years. At first, it felt like searching for needles in a haystack. But patterns quickly emerged, small inconsistencies, overlapping schedules, unexplained absences. Each clue pointed to one undeniable truth: his double life had been ongoing for years, meticulously hidden. Then I discovered something even more horrifying: a series of plane tickets, hotel bookings, and event invitations addressed to him under a different name. He had entire weekends and vacations with her that I thought we spent together. My heart sank. How could I have been so blind? How could I have trusted someone who was living a completely separate existence while smiling at me every day? I confronted him again, this time armed with facts, evidence, and screenshots. His arrogance was gone. Now there was fear, desperation, even panic. He tried to deflect, to minimize, but I wouldn't let him. I saw the truth behind his eyes. The man who had been charming, loving, and attentive was gone. Only the manipulator remained. By the end of that night, I realized something crucial. Exposing him wasn't just about revenge, it was about reclaiming my life. I had to decide how far I would go, how public I would make this, and what consequences he would face. And just when I thought I had everything uncovered, the next revelation hit me like a punch to the stomach, a secret so personal, so shocking, that it changed the game entirely. I knew there was more. The plane tickets, hidden messages, and secret dinners weren't enough. Something in my gut told me he had a place, a space where his double life existed in full. I decided to follow him. Discreetly, I trailed him after work one evening, keeping my distance, heart pounding. He drove to a nondescript building on the outskirts of town, parked, and disappeared inside. I waited, watching from the shadows, nerves twisting my stomach into knots. Minutes later, the door opened, and a woman came out, laughing, holding a bag, completely at ease. My blood ran cold. That was her. The woman from the messages, the secret dinners, the hidden social life. I followed them into the building when he stepped out again, pretending I was looking for a taxi. The security camera caught me slipping past the lobby unnoticed. And then I saw it, a fully furnished apartment, filled with pictures of them together, notes, gifts, and mementos that I had never imagined. He had an entire life carefully crafted to keep me in the dark. The betrayal was total. Every memory of him, the laughter, the dates, the intimacy, felt contaminated. He had been living here regularly, maintaining a normal life with me while enjoying a fantasy with her. The magnitude of the deception hit me harder than anything I'd ever felt. I took photos, every corner, every detail, as evidence. I knew I couldn't confront him without having the full picture. But even as I documented it all, fear clawed at me. What would I do once I exposed him? Would he try to manipulate me, charm me, or escape the consequences entirely? And the most shocking part? There was someone else living in that apartment who I never expected. After gathering proof of the secret apartment, I realized I couldn't handle this alone. I reached out to a few close friends, people I trusted to hear the truth without judgment. But what I didn't expect was how divided their reactions would be. Some were horrified on my behalf, furious that he could betray me so completely. They offered support, advice, even plans for exposing him publicly. But others, shockingly, took his side, insisting I must have misunderstood, or worse, subtly blaming me for pushing him away. The betrayal of my friends cut just as deep as his deception. I felt isolated, trapped between disbelief and outrage. Trying to stay composed, I explained the evidence, the messages, the secret apartment, the hidden social life. Some of them finally saw the truth and were as shocked as I was. But a few continued to defend him, claiming maybe it wasn't as bad as I thought. Their denial fueled my anger. How could anyone justify this level of deceit? Meanwhile, he seemed to sense the shift. He reached out to mutual friends, spinning stories to paint me as paranoid, controlling, or overreacting. It was manipulative and infuriating. I realized that his betrayal wasn't just personal, it had started to infiltrate every part of my social life. I knew I had to make a choice, retreat quietly, losing everything, or take a stand and expose the truth, no matter the fallout. The tension reached a breaking point when one of my friends handed me something that made my heart stop, a receipt linking him to an event I'd never known about. And as I read it, I realized the next move would either destroy him completely or risk everything I held dear. The receipt my friend gave me wasn't just a clue, it was proof of the ultimate betrayal. It showed he had been attending a lavish party with a circle of people I didn't know, and the guest list included not only the woman from the secret apartment but also several colleagues and friends we both trusted. He wasn't just cheating on me, he had built a hidden world, a network of deception where everyone around him played a part. I felt my stomach twist with anger and disbelief. How could he orchestrate something so elaborate, so carefully planned, without anyone noticing? Every interaction, every smile he had shared with me suddenly felt like a lie. I realized that he had been manipulating not just me, but everyone in our lives. Determined to confront him one final time, I arranged a private meeting at a neutral location. My hands shook as I held the stack of evidence, the messages, photos, receipts, everything. When he arrived, he still tried to charm his way out, But I cut him off, laying everything out on the table. At first, he laughed nervously, trying to dismiss it as misunderstandings. But as I revealed the connections, the secret events, the network he had created, the laughter died. He tried to deny it, to spin another story, but the evidence was overwhelming. The man I thought I knew was gone, replaced by a manipulator, a liar, someone who had carefully constructed a life to deceive me. I left that confrontation feeling a mix of relief and devastation. I had uncovered the ultimate betrayal, but the cost was staggering: trust shattered, relationships strained, and my world forever changed. And just when I thought it couldn't get worse, the final twist arrived, something that would shock me to my core and leave me questioning everything I thought I knew. After uncovering the ultimate betrayal, I realized that doing nothing was not an option. I couldn't let him walk away unscathed, pretending nothing had happened while I picked up the pieces of my shattered life. I needed a plan, a way to make him face the consequences without losing myself in the process. I started carefully documenting everything, organizing the messages, photos, receipts, and videos. I created a timeline, a detailed account of his double life, from the first suspicious text to the secret apartment and hidden social events. This wasn't about vengeance fueled by anger, it was about ensuring the truth couldn't be denied. I also reached out to allies, friends and family who had seen his manipulations firsthand. Together, we devised a strategy to confront him publicly, in a way that would leave no room for excuses. The goal was simple: exposure. Not humiliation for fun, but justice for the deception, the lies, and the emotional trauma he had caused. Meanwhile, I kept up appearances, acting normal around him, while secretly orchestrating every detail. It was like walking a tightrope. Every step had to be calculated, every interaction measured, because one slip could ruin the entire plan. At night, I replayed moments of the past months, every smile, every sweet word, every touch, and felt the weight of betrayal push me forward. I couldn't allow him to hide behind charm and lies any longer. He needed to see the consequences of his actions, and I would make sure he did. Little did he know, the revelation I had prepared wouldn't just shock him, it would shake everyone around him and leave a mark that he would never forget. And the stage was set for the confrontation that would change everything. The day had come. I invited him to a casual gathering with friends and family, under the pretense of celebrating a personal milestone. But I had a very different agenda. The room was filled with people who mattered, all unsuspecting, as I prepared to expose the full truth of his deception. I started subtly, asking questions about his recent activities, while projecting confidence I didn't fully feel. Then, I calmly pulled out my tablet, placing it in the center of the table. Every screen, every photo, every message from his hidden life flashed before everyone's eyes. Gasps filled the room. His face went pale, his carefully crafted mask crumbling instantly. The room erupted with shock, confusion, and anger. Friends whispered, family members exchanged looks, and he stumbled through excuses that no one believed. I watched him try to manipulate, to charm, to deny, but it was useless. The proof was undeniable, and everyone could see the depth of his betrayal. What hurt the most wasn't just the exposure, it was his reaction. Instead of remorse, there was panic, desperation, and finally, a dawning realization that he had lost control. The people who mattered most had seen him for what he really was. I felt a mix of satisfaction and relief, knowing that the truth could no longer be hidden. Even though the confrontation was brutal, it was necessary. The public exposure wasn't about revenge, it was about reclaiming my dignity and taking back my life. And yet, even after all of this, the final lesson lingered, a truth I never expected. After the public exposure, life changed in ways I never imagined. Some friends distanced themselves, unsure how to navigate the aftermath. Others rallied around me, offering support and understanding. As for him, the facade was completely shattered. He had no choice but to face the consequences of his actions. I learned something powerful through the pain. Trust is fragile, but self-respect is even stronger. Discovering his betrayal hurt me deeply, but it also gave me clarity. I no longer needed to live in the shadow of someone else's lies. I reclaimed my power, my voice, and my sense of self-worth. The experience also taught me about vigilance. Love and trust are essential, but awareness and self-respect are what protect you from deception. I realized that being brave enough to uncover the truth, even when it hurts, is better than living in ignorance or denial. And while the betrayal left scars, it also revealed the strength I never knew I had. I learned that life doesn't end when someone betrays you, it begins again when you take control, stand tall, and refuse to let deception define your story. If you enjoyed this story, Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and stay tuned for the next drama.